Good morning. This is Hired Done. My name's Adam Helfman. Just finished an amazing hour of Hired Done. Got a new one just starting right now. If you're tuning in for the first time, thanks for tuning in. Just imagine yourself at a coffee shop right now, and we're having a conversation about home improvement, and we're inviting you to sit in and enjoy the conversation. Grab a piece of paper and a pen in case you want to take notes. It's always a good thing. Right? Yeah, we'll send some coffee, please.
Caramel frap.
Deliver some Dunkin' Donuts.
There you go.
Right? We're all about that. So, the question is what's going on your home improvement list today? Well, in studio with us right now is Ron Alexander and his son Aaron Alexander from Shelby Mechanical. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good to be here.
So, real quick, people are opening up their outdoor faucets, putting on the hoses, and they turn it on, and oops, water flowing back into the house.
You got a leak inside. Yeah.
Right?
You have to, if you have frost-free hose bibs, you have to disconnect that hose in the fall or it's going to be split. So if you go to turn your water on and your hose was connected all winter, please go in the basement and look before you flood the place out. So if you see it, call us. We'll have to replace it. But if you turn on the valve in your basement and it's dripping and you're not sure what to do, call me. Call the office. We'll FaceTime you through it. It's just a matter of tightening up a packing nut. I'm not going to send somebody out and charge a service call for 2 minutes worth of work. I can show you how to do it real quick.
You're not going to tell them to YouTube it?
Yeah, YouTube it.
No, that's funny.
Well, I'm running out of things to do around there. Aaron's coming in and stuff, so I'll be the public relations guy.
FaceTime guy.
FaceTime guy. Just call me
Whatever
up.
it takes.
Yeah, why
Whatever
not?
it takes.
I'm not going to stop completely. I got to keep my mind going.
So we're if someone wants to get that taken care of or have some plumbing looked at in their house, call you Monday morning.
Yep. Or you can leave a voicemail over the weekend if it's an emergency. They monitor it, but I think we'll decide here probably next week or so when we're going to go back on Saturdays. But
Listen, again, it's all about demand.
Right.
586-726-9444.
That is correct.
That's the phone number for Shelby Mechanical. And if you're driving, you can just go to hireitdone.com. On the plumbing section, you'll see all about Shelby.
There's a place for requests on the website. You can put in for service, and and then your site funnels them right to us too.
Besides drains, what else is a very unplugging drains? What do you what's like the next plumbing fix that you guys do? Is it like
water heaters?
Oh yeah,
water heaters. Sump pumps going out.
Sump pumps, yeah. A lot of water heaters. We do a lot of water heaters.
If sump pump goes out, do you recommend the triple sump, the backup, the battery, the water backup? What's the one that you would recommend?
Well, we always use Zoller or Myers, those heavy cast iron pumps. We don't use those big box store plastic ones. They used to carry the good pumps. I don't know if they do, or I haven't been in one in a while, but that's the ones we'll put in. And if they have a finished basement or they have a concern of something happening in their basement, we'll give them obviously a price to put in a water backup or a battery backup, whichever they choose. We'll explain the benefits of each.
Makes sense.
But to do them right, water backups, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of guys doing them cheaper, but I don't know if they're we put in an RPZ, which is a water safety device, which is required. And it has to be tested, and to do it right, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Well, obviously, the best one is the one that's installed properly. We
Correct.
use that all the time here.
Correct.
But it's the truth. I mean, it's got to go. It's got to go. But what if someone doesn't have a good water pressure? Is that myth real? I went to, let's just say, a big box store and I bought the real wide shower head, and it's all these with the little rubber nipples on. I'm like, this is great, but I want water pressure. Does it make sense to pull the little, what do they call that blue thing out?
The water restrictor.
Yeah, restrictor.
Yeah, in some cases, sometimes those real big shower heads, I've had an issue. You pull them out, all the water only goes up when it's tilted, maybe halfway up. It doesn't, you see what I mean? It doesn't always fill it completely, those real large ones. And if it's hanging straight down, it's great, like in the center of the ceiling or something in the shower, like a rain head.
Is there a way to increase water pressure in a house?
Well, the meter knocks it down to, most places it's usually 60.
Is that enough?
You can't really, we could put, we've put some in. There's some big houses way out like by Adams and way out that way. They're on a community well.
Yeah.
And they, on a Saturday,
of the well.
on a Saturday morning like this, there's people in $1 million home and they can't, she was taking a bucket of water up to her shower. So we put in this whole booster system, and it
You
worked.
won't blow out solder joints or anything?
No. But it kept them. They would drop down to like 20-something pounds.
So what would you put, like a big 1,500-gallon tank and pump off of that?
No, it's just a pump system. It's a God, I forgot what it was called. It looks like just a long, tall cylinder.
Expensive?
Yeah, it was back then. It was still. I've only done it that one time. It was probably like $5,000. The pump was really expensive, but the guy said,
Hey.
"I don't care. I got this house. I can't even take a shower upstairs in the master bath." So it was we ended up doing some more once the neighbors found out. But if you're near the end of the system,
Yeah,
which
you're
he
in trouble.
was,
I've seen that.
yeah, it's terrible on those community wells.
Well, they should fire. They should sue the developer. You should have like a minimum, like code. It should be minimum amount. They should have that.
Right. Well, it is when during the inspection. What happens when everybody's up at the same time using all the water is when he was having the problem.
Oy. And you want to get Here's how evil-minded I am. Okay,
Yeah.
This is terrible, but I'm going to say it. If I hate my neighbor, I'm going to turn all my faucets on.
Yeah,
in the
you get no
house
water.
just to mess the guy
Just to
up.
mess with
I'm going to,
him.
like, in the morning with my binoculars, look when the
Well,
lights are on in his
When the
bedroom.
bathroom light goes on. Turn everything on, everybody.
Come on, let's screw the neighbor.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? He'd be, oh my God, I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
That's it. It's over for me. There's no question about it. I got
Exactly.
horns coming out of my head. It's terrible. Well, that's how I am. Ron Alexander, Aaron Alexander, you guys are the rock stars of plumbing. I appreciate you guys coming
No
in.
problem.
Thank
Always good to have you. Got to have you again, Aaron, for
Definitely.
sure. Shout out to your wives. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Happy Mother's Day.
And of course, my name's Adam Helfman. Keep it locked in here. We're going to be talking about basement waterproofing, and we're going to solve those problems as well.
Good luck.
This is Hire It Done. We'll be right back. Good morning. This is Hired Done. My name's Adam Helfman. What a great interview we just had with Shelby Mechanical. Aaron Alexander, Ron Alexander, 30-year plumber. This guy, let me tell you, that family, they're what a great family. So when it rains, it pours, right? So how do you make sure, you've lived in a house and all of a sudden there's water in the basement? That's not a good thing, right? That spells trouble. And of course, when water's around your basement, then all of a sudden you get what we call the biohazards. Biohazards are, mold. No one wants that. No one wants a respiratory situation. So you gotta attack it, and you gotta attack it properly. And there's a lot of methods, theories out there for keeping your basement dry. And there's a handful. There's hundreds of companies out there that do basement waterproofing. However, on one hand, I can count the guys that in the business are doing it right. And so joining me in studio right now is a company called Michigan Basements. And this is their first interview on Hired Done, which I'm so excited. And we've got Chris Ramaya and Matt Harrigan from Michigan Basements in studio. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Adam.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Always. So, Chris, let's start right away. Tell the Hired Done audience just a little bit about Michigan Basements, who you are, where you're at, and how long you guys been around.
We're located in Bloomfield Hills. We've been around for a little over 11 years. We waterproof basements. We encapsulate crawl spaces. The system we install is a system that Safe Basements of Minnesota installs for over 30 years.
So is it a patented system?
The multi-flow, which is the drain tile we use, is patented, yes.
Okay. So that's interesting with the way you do that. So, okay, so originally waterproofing was there was the argument inside systems, outside systems, and I agree. Listen, you want to get the water before it comes in the basement. However, economically, if you have a house, and let's just give a scenario, the driveway on the right side of the house is going right up the side of the house, touching the side of the house. You have a front porch that goes, let's say the house is 40 feet wide. It goes 30 feet, okay? The left side of the house, clear, no problem. And then in the rear, you've got a patio, a slab, or a deck going along the back. And then there's water coming in the basement. Are you supposed to saw cut the driveway, cut the deck out, and cut the front porch to waterproof it and charge the homeowner an extra $30,000? I think not. I think that moving to an inside system is an alternative that's viable if, here's the key word, if, installed properly. So with you, Chris, tell me in your way, because of your system, how you guys do it.
So we break up the ground. We're installing an interior drainage system under the floor. The whole thing is a collection agency. We are taking that water and diverting it. What we do is we install a drainage track on the footing, and next to the footing, we dig a ditch and install our multi-flow product, which is 5 channels of stacked drain tile. What we want to do is move the water in the soil. If you're not moving the water in the soil, and you're only moving it in the drainage track, that's what can lead to mold and mildew. So what we do is divert it to the soil, take it to a sump system or a floor drain where then the water is sent away. On the walls, we mechanically fasten vapor and moisture barriers. We tuck them into the system beneath the floor and pour the concrete back.
Simple. Mm-hmm. So it's a dirty job.
Oh, it's labor. It's dirty. It's messy. It's loud. It's dusty. But when we're done, we're cleaner than before we got there.
Right. And I've seen your before and after pictures, and you can tell, obviously, you're going to show your best work. But the best way to do this, obviously, is to properly, like you said, install the system. So homeowner has water. And let's say, does the majority of your jobs, and I'll ask you this, Matt, are the majority of your jobs block wall or poured wall?
Most of them are poured walls, but we do have a handful of the block walls.
Because, you go to like a Clausen or a Ferndale Rook, and it's a block wall, and those block walls are hollow, and they fill up with water. When you do the system, do you ever break the floor out, and then all of a sudden water comes gushing out of the wall?
Yeah, so one of the things you want to do is you got to relieve the water pressure,
right?
The hydrostatic pressure that's in the blocks that fills up in those blocks. So one of the ways that we do it is drill weep holes in there and exactly what you're saying.
Let it out,
It gush
let it-
out like a little faucet turned on.
So you're breaking out the foundation. So the wall sits down on the footing, and then the basement slab is poured on the top of the footing. You break out the floor over the footing. How far into the basement floor do you go?
It depends on how wide the footing is.
Okay.
So it roughly is about 18 inches, anywhere
Okay.
between 12 and 18 inches.
Now, most guys don't go below the footing, or they just go alongside the footing and they chip out the corner or the edge of the footing. How do you guys go? Like when the waterproofing goes against the footing, what do you do? Is it how deep do you go below the footing?
Oh yeah. So our 5-stacked drain tile patented system, our multi-flow, goes anywhere about 8 to 10 inches below the footing there.
So when you say multi-stack,
Multi-flow.
multi-flow, 5-stack, does that mean like there's pipes that are on top of each other?
So imagine drain tile.
Okay.
And imagine 5 channels of drain tile stacked one on top of the other.
So drain
so the
tile is that
product-
black pipe for anyone
Yep.
out there. And then so you have 5 little ones? Or,
5 channels of it. It's 7 inches long. So traditional drain tile is 4 inches.
Yeah. So this
If
is
you're
7 inches
installing
tall.
this, we're digging more deeper, lowering the water table, which is the point of the
Right.
whole thing. And it's more labor, but it's the right way to do it. You want to lower the water table as
Right.
much as you can.
To get rid of the water for sure. So then you backfill it with pea stone, or does it need to be or
River
what-
pebble.
Okay, river pebble, and that's like a certain size, or
It's a little larger
A
than
little
that.
larger. We pay a little more for it, but it's
The right way to
everything
do
is
it.
better products, better materials.
that makes sense. Now you run everything into a sump pump or a sump crock. If there is one?
Possibly a floor drain if the city allows it, but generally we're taking it to a sump pump system.
So sometimes the city will allow you to run it too. Oh, that's kind of cool.
It is, but there's pros and cons to that. If we're taking it to a floor drain and the client homeowner allows that floor drain to get clogged,
Okay, so that backs up.
then we're sending our water to that floor drain. It's not the system that would have failed; it's the floor drain that wasn't properly maintained.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And I figure that. 248-539-9797. If you have a question, maybe one that Google can answer, give us a shot. Or don't forget a shout out Saturday. We want to shout out to Chris Wilhelmsen, who's listening. Shout out there. Also, a happy birthday to Mike Harvey, CEO and founder of the Roof Resource. You've heard it here on the show, which is getting a roof at cost, which is game changer, as we know. We've got Michigan Basements in studio, Matt Harrigan and Chris Ramaya. Chris, let me ask you a question. Business this year, booming, busy? What is your outlook for the year?
Fantastic so far. A little bit different than last year, where it was much drier. But our outlook is great. We are really moving. Basement waterproofing is fantastic right now.
It's not slowing down.
It's not slowing down, and it's our crews, the men we have. We're really solving issues. We're really feeling so good about the work that we're doing. People are just in love with us. It's
Well,
showing.
you got good. Listen, the customer response is always good. Good satisfaction. Are you hiring?
We are always looking for more good men and women in our.
Because that's a
in our
labor intensive job.
It's very labor intensive. The guys that we have now, we have our best culture that we've ever had.
Love it.
Yes,
Love it.
We're going to add services in the future because of the good men we have.
I want to talk about that when we come back. We're going to take a quick break. We've got Michigan Basements in studio. Matt Harrigan and Chris Ramaya. MichiganBasements.com is the website. 248-539-9797. If you have a question, give us a call or a text. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Hire It Done. Were you aware that reverse osmosis filtration can reduce and in some cases eliminate already existing contaminants and any future contaminants in your drinking water, such as salts, sediment, microplastics, various chemicals, and even pharmaceuticals? Don't be flushing your Lexapro down the drain. Put your health in your own hands. Love your water with Beauchamp water. He is the king of water, by the way. Water's the next problem that we're going to have. So make sure your water's clean. I'm telling you right now. And of course, you're getting water in your basement. Guess what? I got a guy. Michigan Basements in studio. Chris Ramaya and Matt Harrigan here want to make sure that you know if your basement's leaking, you can give them a call. So if someone calls you Monday and says, hey, I want an inspection, I'm not sure it's leaking, it's got musty, I got that white fuzzy stuff on the corners, efflorescence.
Yeah.
You know, will you guys come out and inspect a basement?
Oh, yeah. Our coordinators are fantastic, very communicative process, and we will get them scheduled. We'll come out and do a free inspection. What you'll love about us, Adam, no sales tactics, no pressure. We're just straightforward, telling you what's wrong, why it happened, what our solution is, and you'll never feel that pressure. So
yeah,
we'll get you set up right away. We'll come take a look, and then we'll come out. If you like us, we'll get the work done.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. This is a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
When you say pressure,
Mm-hmm.
do you know that a lot of the hired done contractors are required not to do high pressure sales? And what I mean by that, and let's use the roofing industry as an example. Roofing contractor comes out to a house. And by the way, it's old school sales. They come out to the house and they talk to the homeowner and they give them the price, you know, in the first 30, 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Jones, to put a new roof on, we got the XYZ roof, the 50-year warranty, the and by the way, it's leaking here and it's leaking there. And look at this flashing. Look at that. $39,500. And, you know, the homeowner almost passes out.
Mm-hmm.
You get a little nervous, a little nauseous. And then next thing you know, an hour and a half later, they're sweating. And the guy's at 19.9.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, Mrs. Jones, listen, I'm not allowed to give you this price. It's $19,900. I'd love to do your job. I'd love to schedule, and I'd love to do business with you, but this is it. You can't share this with anyone. Let's get started. And the homeowner doesn't know any better. But if you think about it, if a contractor comes to your house and in an hour and a half drops the price by 50%, why would you use them?
What does it say about you, Adam? That's exactly what I'm hoping that
Your competitors do.
the consumers, we don't walk into a job and tell them it's $15,000 and an hour later or 2 days later tell them it's 11 so they feel like they won something. No, we're going to be at 11 that day. The only time we're going to do major deals is there's got to be a schedule gap that something happened that I got to, a cruise all of a sudden.
Right.
Yeah.
If you
Okay,
got
somebody
5
got
straight
lucky.
days,
I called somebody up and you know what? I got to fill this gap or, it's a working issue. But otherwise, we price fair. We don't play that game. And that's just what I mean. And our industry does that.
Okay. And by the way, I appreciate that because like in roofing, we have a company called the Roof Resource. It's changing the industry. And what they do is they sell roof at cost. And it's amazing technique. And everyone's like, how do you make money? How do you do this? How do you do that? Game changer. And I'm proud to be part of it. By the way, the founder, Mike Harvey, good guy. He understands the business. He understands people. And I'm grateful that I get to work with him. By the way, today's his birthday.
Happy
birthday
Happy
to
birthday.
Mike. I think he's turning like 66 or 67 years old. Not sure. Anyways, he's going to go crazy if he heard that. But my point is in your business, here's the price, Mrs. Jones. Do you price it per job? Is it per foot? Like, how do you guys put the price together? It's got to be per job, right?
It's per job, and the waterproofing is a lineal foot price. So that's how that works.
Okay, and by the way, it's okay. So homeowners need to know that. So the typical job, let's say homeowner says, all right, I got to do it. Now, let's say it's leaking in 2 corners, but you got 2 other corners or 2 other sides. Do you do the 2 of them or you do the whole thing?
We do partials all the time. We get into basements and client has 1 wall leaking. Why are we going to do the whole basement? Why are we going to charge them for the whole basement? Fix the wall or at least find out what their plans are in the basement. Maybe they want to finish it. And if that's all you need is treatment on that 1 wall, waterproofing is like Legos. You can come in and connect in the future if there's an issue on another wall. So that's what we do.
That may be the best answer I've heard in years, because not that I disagree or don't agree. I love that answer, because I've had other contractors on and they're like, you should do the whole thing. You know, if you replace a flat tire, should you put all 4 tires on?
No.
Not
What if you're moving
always.
in 2 years? Why are you going to do the whole thing?
Right. Now, what is your warranty
Situational.
like?
Warranty is a lifetime transferable warranty
It is
for
transferable.
where we treat and what
Okay.
treat what you ask
So
for.
you're specific.
Mhm.
But that's the thing. If the drains don't work, or if it's leaking in the same area, you'll give you a call and you'll come out.
Mhm.
It's not rocket science.
But that's what we say a lot. It's not rocket science
Right.
at all. It's
It's just getting the water managed away from the basement.
a collection
Keep
agency.
it simple. You're a collection agency.
It's waterproofing shouldn't even be called waterproofing. It should be called water collection.
Water collection. That's a good idea. You're a collection agency. So now let's say I have a basement and I got a crawl space. My crawl space I have in my house, I have a crawl space. It's dirt. It's like a 4 foot tall. It's not big. I got a furnace hanging off the joists. I got a vent on one side. I want to encapsulate it. Easy to do?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Matt, what do you guys like? Tell me your system on a crawl space encapsulation. You put that like white vinyl. It's a
Vapor and
called?
moisture barrier.
A vapor moisture barrier.
Yep, it's our same vapor moisture barrier that we use for the waterproofing that goes on the floor. We offer a couple different solutions packages for crawl spaces depending on the needs and wants.
What are the benefits of having a crawl space encapsulated? What does it do? It's moisture reduction.
You're sealing.
Air.
You're sealing all the gases, radon, moisture, vapors from coming up through the home. If you YouTube or Google, whatever you do for research, you'll see what's coming up through your home and what your family's actually breathing. So
Oh.
it's very, very. It's the healthiest thing we put
Should
in
a
any
crawl
home.
space be conditioned?
You need to condition the air. If you encapsulate it, you do not want the air to get stagnant. So you've got to find out how
Okay,
you're going to do
careful.
that. There's different ways to do that. Popular priced ways like diffusers.
Yeah.
Or
Piece of ductwork
really
there.
expensive ways like crawl space fans or commercial
Do
grade
you guys
defuse.
offer like a fan that goes up out the bomb plate, or it circulates the air? I've seen a couple of other companies. Oh, we take the air in and move it out, and we slightly heat it. Have you heard of that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Exactly what Chris was saying. You have to move that air some way, somehow.
So you need some air movement.
So
What about the vents, the sliding little vents? You got to keep those closed when you have an encapsulated crawl space, yes?
yes, we completely seal
Seal
that off. The idea here is sealing all those nooks and crannies, so you're making a controlled space underneath there.
Which I figured it makes a lot of sense. Typical job, how long does it take?
In a crawl,
Yeah.
a couple days,
And then in a full basement.
depends on the size. Same thing, a day. It could be anywhere from a day to 5 days. Just
Okay.
depends on the job.
Now, do you prep the homeowner like we're breaking up concrete. We're taking it out in 5-gallon buckets, right? You're walking it up. You protect the home.
The communication is so stellar from our inspector to Matt making his introduction call when they signed the work with us, to our foreman and Matt introducing them. And then we're running air scrubbers. We're running negative air.
So you are.
We're
So you
protecting
have the
every
remediation. I
single.
forgot, you have the experience.
I have the remediation.
That's different.
We're trained by a remediation company on how to protect people's homes from the plastic on the floor,
Air quality.
to sealing their vents. It's a dusty job, and
Oh my God, yeah.
even in our language, it'll tell you that. In any waterproofing company's language, it'll tell you that. But we want to just go above and beyond because it's just a lot of mess, like you mentioned earlier.
248-539-9797. If you have a waterproofing question, your basement's wet, moist, mildewy, scootsy, schmutzy, whatever you've got, you can text us a question, 248-539-9797. Of course, it's also Shout Out Saturday. Shout out to Bob Schlatter, Jacob Philippak, Mike Harvey, Kathy Coble. They're all listening this morning. Great crew. The Roof Resource, of course. So we've got Chris Ramaya and Matt Harrigan from Michigan Basements. What about financing? Homeowner says, oh my God, it's more than I thought. You can offer financing, right?
Yeah, and and these
How
are big.
popular is it?
It's popular. Insurance does not cover the solution that we are.
The results
Insurance
of
will
cause.
cover the contents, your fancy painting or your couch that gets messed up. But in terms of the solution to stop the issue, that's
Yeah.
not what they're covering. So clients got to come out of pocket. Financing is very, a lot of people are choosing financing.
Well,
when
it makes
you
sense
got a
this time
bill
of
for
year.
10 grand or
Yeah.
150 a month, it makes a big difference.
I'll take the $150 a month.
At least to get started and solve the problem.
I love that. 248-539-9797. Michigan Basements. The website, MichiganBasements.com. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about if you're thinking of finishing your basement, what's the most important reason you have them come out and make sure that it's not going to leak? My name's Adam Helfman. Keep it locked in right here. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Hired Done. My name's Adam Helfman. 248-539-9797. You have a question Google can't answer? We're talking waterproofing. Michigan Basements in studio. Chris Ramaya and Matt Harrigan. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let me ask you a question, Chris. You know, we were talking about your system. You break the floor out. we have to really give you what's the difference between your system and the other systems, because everyone claims, oh, I got a system, it's the best, it's patented, it's da 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 da. Tell me your system again.
So, Adam, all of the waterproofing companies are going to have some type of drainage track that sits on the footing. Ours has a radon seal on the back, which is extremely helpful and healthy, and ours is a lower profile, whereas many of the other companies, they're using a oversized drainage track. And what these companies will do, which we will never do, is they will chip your footing to install their drainage track. When you do that,
well, what does it mean when they chip it? They cut that corner
they
off?
chip the footing to make the drainage track fit. Their drainage track, there's one called, say, Aquastop that's extra big, and companies will chip footing to install that drainage track. And if you have a problem in the future, Adam, with your wall bowing, warping, something, guess who has to fix it? The company who installed that drainage track, or they'll void the warranty. How do you feel about that? That's not going to ever happen with us. We're going to install that drainage track. We're going to put our 5 channels of stacked drain tile right next to the footing, which, again, most important part of the job, lowering the water table, and then vapor and moisture barrier on the wall. The ways waters can intrude from the foundation are 3 ways: through the wall, at the cove, or up through the floor. We cover all 3, and it's a sealed system. It's called triple protection. So many times we're asking people to get an apples-to-apples comparison, because most of the companies just want to throw a drainage track on the footing and call it a day. Well, then again, you always have water in your system instead of moving it to the soil, where when you have water in the system, what does it lead to? Mold and mildew.
You know, it's interesting you say it that way, and it makes sense to me. Then you run it. Let's just say you guys replace a sump crock. You put in your own sump crock.
Yes, we want to, because if we install ours, it's going to be a perforated basin, which is not what most people have in their home, and we're going to surround it with river pebble, which is going to help suck and draw water towards it in about a 10-foot radius, which is the point. We want water in that basin so the sump can do the work, send the water away.
Collection.
Sealed lid as well. We want a sealed lid. We don't want any of those. Everything is about health with us. We don't want those gases coming up through the sump and up into the home. We're going to seal that lid. It's going to be a clear lid. You're going to be able to watch your system work, operate its own parts, exercise.
That's important. And, hydrostatic pressure, it gets relieved when you put in a sump crock like that. So then what about, you've heard of the, battery backups, water backup. Do you guys offer anything like that, or you don't find it necessary?
Battery backups we offer, not water. And we actually we've been putting in this one system called an alternator, especially if the client has a generator. An alternator system is 2 sumps in 1 basin. They alternate usage for shelf life. If one goes down, they alert the homeowner, hey, Mr. Homeowner, my buddy's down, but I'm going to run the system while you get this settled. Yeah. I'm a commercial grade system just like my buddy here. You have no worries. That way the client's not rushing to get some plumber or somebody out, because there's 2 in there, and they run on a generator. It's fantastic.
Well, that's kind of cool. Is that expensive?
Well, it's worth the price, is what I would say.
Because if it floods in your basement, that's real expensive.
Yes. You can just put in 1 sump, but if the sump fails and then you do have a generator and the sump fails for a parts or mechanical issue, what's going to run your system? Not a generator. Generator just keeps it alive.
Correct.
So,
is there any downside to any of this?
Not if you don't want water in your basement anymore.
Right. And that's the thing. Water in the basement is a bad thing. Moist, humid. You got biogrowth. That's the problem. You want to prevent that immediately.
And you're below grade, Adam. You're always going to have moisture in the walls. That's the point of the vapor and moisture barrier as well, in terms of the health reasons.
What if I have a crack on my foundation wall and it looks like it's bowing? When I call you guys out to inspect it, is there a solution that you offer for cracked walls that are like bigger than normal, like an epoxy crack?
Carbon fiber straps are what we're putting on. They look like a big fat seatbelt on the wall. They attach to the framework of the home, and you're
vertical.
Yes.
Up and down. And then you go into the footing. Does it go down? Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really that.
If the wall is in really bad shape, we'll probably do steel beams on the walls, but those are very intrusive, and we'd rather do the carbon fiber strap if we can. But it depends. The wall.
Steel beam. How do you get it downstairs? It's got to be heavy as hell.
Matt carries them all day long
over your shoulder. Don't worry. Now, it is a dirty, messy, dusty job. You prep the homeowner for that. Do you protect the whole environment?
Oh yeah, air scrubbers, run negative air,
Plastic, you do the zipper
plastic,
walls, whatever.
everywhere we even step foot.
Okay, so
up and down your
side
stair.
door, up and down, whatever.
Yep.
You put the stuff in the back of a truck, a dumpster. How do you do it?
You mean the
debris.
what we break out?
Yeah.
Yeah, we drop trailers off, and then our guys will
Remove everything. You know why I say that is because I've had a homeowner, because I always give tips on make sure you get everything in writing, and then I say once you get it, give it back to the contractor and tell them to put everything not included in writing. And the reason why I say that is because it makes the contractor think. Because I had a homeowner call me up one day and say, "Hey, Adam, they busted out my basement floor and they put all the debris at the end of the driveway and said, oh, we didn't." That's where we take the debris out. We're not taking it away. You have to pay someone to take it away. I'm like, what? So now I make sure that they say remove and haul away debris, not just remove all debris, haul away. It's
actually
small
just
little semantics, but it's a difference.
It's exactly the way we say it on our proposals as well, on our work authorizations. It says remove and haul away debris. There's no questions.
Well, that's what I thought. We're talking with Chris Ramaya and Matt Harrigan from Michigan Basements. How busy are you guys right now?
We're pretty busy. We are in a fast-moving environment. We are on the go. Matt's got projects all over, and he's got great foremen that he can depend on, which is very helpful.
Yeah.
And our estimators, inspectors, they're all over the place too. So we're extremely busy.
So if I call you Monday for an estimate, can you come out in the next 3 days, or are you a week out?
We're within a week.
Okay.
And
depending on
we'll squeeze. We want our guys geographically in areas where,
right.
yeah, if I've got 4 in Novi that day and somebody from Novi is calling and I know I can get, hey,
you'll go there.
Call one of our guys. Can we squeeze one more in there and that sort of thing? And
but if you got a guy going to Clarkston, he's not going to Rockwood the same day.
Yes.
No chance.
Okay, and the estimates are free?
Estimates are free.
Okay. Typically, when you come to a house, are you there? How long are you there?
Are we talking about for the inspection?
Yeah, just as the homeowner says, I got water coming in.
Let's call an average about 45 minutes, but it could be from a half an hour to an hour and a half. Different people have different questions, and things are situational sometimes.
Okay, scenario. My basement's got boxes from high school to college. I've got extra clothes. I got when I was fat. I got everything, and it's everywhere. And now I got water coming in the wall. Who's responsible for moving? Do I have to move the stuff away from the wall by 5 feet? Who does all that?
If they're your personal belongings, it'll be noted that you need to move your personal belongings. Do we get to homes and they haven't done it yet? Sometimes. We don't want to pick up a lamp and somebody says, well, that's not how it was before, that sort of thing. Do we help?
Lamp.
We're always looking to help and do, a little old lady, she didn't move the table over there. Will all guys move it? Yeah, of course we will. But that's how that works.
Okay, but it's the homeowner's responsibility. And that it should be. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you guys document the house with pictures before you start?
If you knew our photo and document process, you would be floored. We take pictures. Our inspectors are taking pictures outside where we're going to park. When we take pre-existing when we get there before we even start the job. We have production and completion.
Boy, does that protect you.
Oh yeah.
Me and Matt can tell the story of a job just by the pictures.
Okay, and that's good to know. Now, when you push the water outside,
discharge it.
Yeah, when
away.
it's discharged. Mm-hmm. And where do you go if you have nowhere to run it? Do you run it into a French drain? What do you do? It just goes out to the
generally
gas?
Bury the pipe beneath the surface and send it, depending on what the client wants. Some clients say send it 100 feet away.
As
some
far
clients,
away as possible.
Yeah, some clients will say just whatever standard, and usually that's 10, 20 feet.
Just away so it doesn't pump back to the foundation. You got to get it away. Mm-hmm. That's what I was figured. How do you get most of your business? Referral? What is it besides referral? I know everyone refers you.
A lot of referrals. A lot from our web forms. People fill out our web forms, and we just
so your
call
search
them.
engine stuff. Anything from Facebook?
Yeah, a little bit.
Facebook
and there's going to be more.
Still good for contractors.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, I'm learning a lot more all the time. I'm always learning about stuff. Where I think, oh, it's over, said and done, and then all of a sudden Facebook comes back with leads.
Yeah.
They change that algorithm sometimes, and you don't know. But all right, well, that's it, man. Pleasure to have you here, Chris.
Likewise, it was great being here. Watching you in action was great.
Chris Ramaya, Matt Harrington. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
MichiganBasements.com. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'll be back next week, of course. Happy Mother's Day to all the listeners. Happy birthday to Mike Harvey. Whoop, whoop. My name's Adam Helfman. We'll see you next week.